Good morning and welcome to Connect MKE. I'm your host, Andrea Williams. Our focus this morning is on an organization that's been at the forefront of the fight to make democracy work for all for over 100 years. The League of Women Voters of Milwaukee County is a nonprofit organization that's a nonpartisan organization as well. It encourages informed and active participation in government, works to increase understanding of major public policy issues, and influences public policy through education and advocacy. My first guest is here to help us better understand the mission and bring us up to date on issues that are important to their mission. Peggy Creer serves as the president of the League of Women Voters of Milwaukee County. How are you, Peggy?
I'm good. Thanks, Andrea.
Always good to have you here. And as I stated, I'm interested in hearing more about the history of the organization and the work you do that makes a difference in the lives of people here in Milwaukee County.
No, sure. Well, like you say, we've been around for 100 years, a little over that now. And we focus on voter turnout, getting people registered to vote, getting them to the polls, giving them unbiased information on elections. We have 10 teams that work just on different aspects of voter registration, at different audiences, high schoolers, different audiences to try to boost voter turnout among underrepresented populations at the polls. And then we also engage in educating the public on important public policy matters and get them civically engaged that way.
Absolutely. And we just had our spring election on April 5th, and there was less than 30% of registered voters in Milwaukee County that showed up to cast their ballot. However, voter turnout was slightly higher for the city of Milwaukee, and I'm guessing those numbers can go towards the big race for mayor, which had a lot of people talking about just how things were changing for the first time in some 18 years. So what were your thoughts on the low voter turnout in that election?
Well, I was disappointed. I actually expected it to be a little higher. It was 34% in the spring election in 2020. So I was thinking with a mayoral race that might be even higher than that, but maybe wishful thinking. But it constantly surprises me because these are the elected representatives that have a direct impact on the quality of life in our communities. They spend the tax dollars, they determine the priorities, they make the laws, so we're working hard to boost turnout, to boost those registration rates. And I hope we do a lot better in the upcoming midterm elections. Well, I'm sure we will.
Well, with that said, we do have a big election coming up in November. There's the race for governor, lieutenant governor, the Senate race, 8 seats in the U.S. House of Representatives, the 17 odd-numbered seats in the Wisconsin State Senate, and then all 99 seats in the Wisconsin State Assembly, and the fall primary that you spoke of, that's coming up August 9th, I believe. So with that said, talk about the importance of voting and what your organization is doing at this time in order to get people ramped up and informed for the primary and that general election.
Yeah, well, and I'm not sure you mentioned, but the sheriff's race.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Then too. So these are very important races, and even in a high turnout election, there will be at least, I would imagine, in autumn, 30% of eligible voters who just won't show up. So I'm hoping that your viewers, if you know someone who's a no-show, a habitual no-show, that they will encourage them to get registered and show up at the polls. We are in, like I say, we've got 10 different teams for voter registration. So they're at the public libraries. We're in 72 high schools in the area. If we found that if you can engage 17 and 18-year-olds, get them young, they tend to make voting a lifelong habit. We work with seniors, we run candidate forums when requested. We're in the House of Corrections now, registering eligible voters there. And through all different community organizations, particularly active on the south side of Milwaukee too. to get more of the Latinx voters involved and try to raise rates there. So we're very busy. We're out and about a lot. So I'm hoping we see these higher turnout rates.
Yeah, and it goes without saying, it never stops. So once one election's over, you guys are busy getting ready for the next, and you always have the website where people can get more informed on the issues, who's on their particular ballot, all of those things. And you can tell them a little bit more about that because they can start to kind of learn more about each of the candidates and know when they arrive to the polls exactly who they're going to vote for.
Right, you're referring to our vote411.org website. That gets updated a few weeks before each election with the very current, the latest information. The candidates who turned in their paperwork and have the correct number of signatures actually qualify to be on the ballot. And then we send the candidates questions. And those who respond to us have their answers put on vote411.org verbatim, so you can compare candidates. You can take that right on your phone to the polls to help you compare and choose. We also have definitions of the job descriptions for different offices, which is also very helpful in evaluating the qualifications you see. We're also busy now. You know, there's a lot of misinformation out there, some distrust about election results, and we are trying to combat that. We run good elections in the state of Wisconsin. In Wisconsin, every vote has a paper ballot backup. There's a backup on paper somewhere. So when we do recounts, we're counting paper, comparing that to machine counts. We have very accurate elections, which the recounts showed here, and people can trust our election administration in Wisconsin. And we want people to know that.
And Peggy, we mentioned that you are a nonpartisan group, so people don't have to worry about what side of the aisle that you stand on with the information that you are presenting to individuals. And the League also has a very interesting calendar. There are virtual lunch and learn sessions that are held on the third Tuesday of every month, and then host a special guest that educate on particular subjects to educate your members as well as the public. And I just wanted to mention, for instance, Reggie Jackson, who has been a guest on this show on many occasions. He's going to explore the hidden history of diversity in America, and he has a wealth of information that definitely will leave you thinking after you've heard him speak. That's happening May 12th at 6 p.m. and the details on that and so much more is right there on your website. What's that address, please?
That's lwvmilwaukee.org.
Okay, and they can also call you if they have any questions or concerns about anything that we've discussed, right?
Right. That's
okay.
414-273-VOTE.
All righty, 414-273-VOTE. And Peggy, it goes without saying, it's always a pleasure talking to you, and it's never too soon to remind people the power of their vote. So thank you for the work that you're doing and your time today.
All right, thank you.
It's always a pleasure. Peggy Creer is the president of the League of Women Voters of Milwaukee County. Again, you can visit their website at lwvmilwaukee.org. When we return to Connect MKE, we'll continue our conversation about the work being done by the League of Women Voters. Next, we'll talk to one of the principal authors of the League of Women Voters of Milwaukee County report that's titled A Clarion for Change, and we'll do that right after this.